Number 12. Childhood amnesia. You probably can't remember anything from before you were 3 or 4 years old. I'm not talking about foggy memories. I mean a total blank void. It's like your brain only started recording after a certain point. This phenomenon, known as childhood amnesia, isn't because you were too young for anything interesting to happen. It's because the part of your brain responsible for long-term memory, the hippocampus, wasn't fully developed yet. Think of your brain like a new computer. It's on, it's doing stuff, but the hard drive isn't fully installed yet. It's running on temporary RAM, processing the here and now, but it's not saving anything to the permanent storage. So even if you had a pivotal, life-changing moment as a 2-year-old, like inventing a new type of crayon or successfully negotiating for more juice, your brain just went, "Cool story, but I'm not saving that," and promptly deleted it. The funny thing is, you actually learn a ton during that time, like how to walk, talk, and get into trouble. But those skills are stored in a different part of your brain. It's like your brain has a skills folder and a memories folder, and for the first few years, only the skills folder works. Your brain is essentially a selective archivist, and it just decided that your first few years of existence weren't worth saving. Number 11. The forgetting curve. Have you ever studied for a test, felt like you knew everything, and then a day later, it's all gone? That's not you being lazy. That's your brain being a jerk. It's called the forgetting curve, and it's a terrifyingly efficient way your mind gets rid of information it thinks is useless. First described by a German psychologist in the 1800s, this is a mathematical model of how memory decays over time. The curve shows that you forget a massive amount of new information almost immediately, like within the first 20 minutes. And the rest of it just keeps fading away at an alarming rate. If you don't actively try to remember something, your brain just unsubscribes from that information without telling you. It's like a digital janitor, constantly clearing out old files to make room for new ones. You think you've learned a new language or memorized a historical timeline, but your brain is already sending it to the recycling bin. The only way to beat the curve is to go back and relearn the information at specific intervals. This forces your brain to say, "Oh, this again? I guess it's important after all," and move it from the short-term scrap heap to the long-term vault. Number 10. Retrieval failure. You know that feeling when a name is on the tip of your tongue? You can almost taste it, but it just won't come out. That's not your memory being gone. It's your brain playing a cruel game of hide and seek. The information is still in there, filed away somewhere in your mental library. But for some reason, your brain can't find the access key. This is called retrieval failure, and it's one of the most common and infuriating forms of forgetting. The tip of the tongue phenomenon is a perfect example. You have all the clues: the first letter, the number of syllables, a related memory. But the final piece of the puzzle is locked behind an invisible door. It happens more often when you're stressed, sleep-deprived, or trying too hard. Your brain, in a moment of panic, just can't locate the right file. It's like trying to find one specific book in a massive unorganized library. The book exists, but unless you have the right Dewey Decimal number, you're just wandering around aimlessly. The most annoying part is that the name or fact will often pop into your head an hour later when you're in the shower, completely relaxed. Your brain's version of a taunt. Number 9. The brain's rewrite function. You might think your memories are like a perfect video recording, a flawless playback of past events, but that's a lie your brain tells you. Every time you recall a memory, you're not playing back a file, you're reconstructing it. And every time you reconstruct it, you change it. Your brain is a terrible editor, and it's constantly tweaking the past to fit the present. This is called memory reconsolidation. When you bring up an old memory, your brain makes it temporarily unstable so it can be updated and resaved. This is great for learning new things and making connections, but it's horrible for accuracy. You might accidentally add details from a different memory, a conversation you had, or a movie you saw. This is why eyewitness testimony can be so unreliable. Someone might be 100% convinced they saw a certain person or a certain detail, but they're just recalling a version of the event that their brain has edited over time. The result is a personal history that is more of a mosaic of stories than an accurate timeline. Your brain isn't a historian. It's a fiction writer who keeps revising the book of your life. And the truly disturbing part is that you'll never know which parts are the truth and which parts are just your brain's latest draft. Number 8. The Google effect. Do you feel like you can't remember anything anymore because you always have your phone nearby? You're not imagining it. This is a real thing called the Google effect, or digital amnesia. Your brain has figured out that it doesn't need to save certain information because it knows it can always find it again with a quick search. It's an evolutionary shortcut. Our brains are designed to be efficient, and if a resource is always available, why waste precious storage space on it? This means you're more likely to remember where you saved a file, like the folder on your computer, than the file itself. In this case, your file is the fact, and the folder is the search engine. Your brain just remembers, oh, that's in Google, and lets go of the information. The scary part is that it's not just phone numbers or addresses, it's factual information too. Studies have shown that people who believe they will have future access to information are less likely to remember it. So while you may think technology is making you smarter, it's really just turning your brain into a giant index, and the internet is the library. Number 7. The repressed memory myth. You've probably heard of people suddenly remembering a traumatic event from their childhood that they had completely blocked out. The idea of a repressed memory is a popular trope in movies and TV shows, but the scientific community largely considers it a myth. While it's true that our brains have weird ways of dealing with trauma, the idea of a memory being completely sealed away and then perfectly retrieved years later is extremely unlikely. Instead, what often happens is that therapists, or even a person's own mind, create a false memory. They'll take fragments of a real memory, stories they've heard, or things they've imagined, and stitch them together into a convincing but fabricated new memory. Your brain is so good at lying to you that it can create an entire vivid narrative that never actually happened. The reason for this is called source monitoring error, where you confuse the origin of a memory. You know the memory exists, but you can't recall if it came from a book, a conversation, a movie, or your own imagination. The mind's ability to create a repressed memory is a terrifying example of its power to shape your reality. Number 6. Transience. You're trying to remember where you parked your car this morning, but for some reason, the memory of pulling into the parking space has completely vanished. You remember driving to the store and you remember being inside, but the few seconds in between are just gone. This is called transience, and it's basically your brain's natural decay process. Like all living things, memories break down over time. The more time that passes, the more likely a memory is to fade. This is why you can remember a major event from a decade ago, but you can't remember what you had for lunch last Tuesday. Your brain is essentially a filter. It decides that some information is crucial for survival, like the time you almost got hit by a bus, and it decides that other information is just noise. The disturbing thing about this is that we all assume our memories are like a file cabinet. You put the memory in and it stays there forever. But in reality, your brain is like a messy closet, and it's constantly throwing out things it thinks are useless. It doesn't ask for permission. It just gets rid of memories it thinks you don't need, and it rarely gets it right. Number 5. Blocking. You run into an old friend and you're so excited, but for some reason, you can't remember their name. You know it, you've said it 1,000 times, but it just won't come to you. Then a different name pops into your head, and it's completely wrong. This is called blocking, and it's when one memory gets in the way of another. It's a very common form of retrieval failure, and it happens when a stronger memory blocks a weaker one. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that the wrong name is more important than the right one. It's especially bad with names because they are arbitrary labels that aren't connected to other information. You might remember where you met this person, what they were wearing, and what you talked about. But the one piece of information you need is stuck behind a mental wall. The most annoying part is that the wrong name will just keep popping up. You'll be in the middle of a different conversation, and your brain will just yell, It's Bob. Even though you know for a fact that your friend's name is not Bob. It's your brain's way of trying to help, but it's just throwing out a fake answer to a question you already know the answer to. Number 4, absent-mindedness. You walk into a room, but when you get there, you have no idea why you walked in. You were just thinking about it, and now it's gone. This is a form of absent-mindedness, and it's a completely normal part of being human. It's when a breakdown happens between your attention and your memory. You were thinking about something, but your mind was elsewhere, and so the information never really got stored. It's like you hit the save button, but the file didn't actually save. The disturbing part is that you'll never know how many times this has happened to you. You could have had an important thought, an idea for a business, or a solution to a problem, and it's just vanished forever. Your brain is a master of distraction, and when your attention is divided, it just stops recording. It's like a camera that only takes pictures when you're looking at it. So the next time you walk into a room and forget why, don't worry. Your brain just forgot to turn on the camera. Number 3, misattribution. Have you ever told a story and then realized you were telling someone else's story? Or maybe you saw a news report and were certain you saw it on a different channel? That's called misattribution, and it's when you get the source of a memory wrong. The memory itself might be correct. The event happened, the conversation took place, but your brain has mislabeled where it came from. It's a fundamental glitch in our memory system. We're great at remembering the what, but we're terrible at remembering the where. This is why people sometimes accuse others of stealing their ideas or their stories. They might be genuinely convinced that an idea came from them, when in reality, they just heard it somewhere else, and their brain filed it in the My Brilliant Ideas folder. It's also why eyewitnesses can confuse a face they saw on a different occasion with a face they saw at a crime scene. Your brain doesn't see these things as separate events. It just sees them as a collection of facts and memories, and it puts them together in whatever way makes sense to it. It's a terrifying reminder that your brain is just a chaotic filing cabinet, and it's constantly mixing up the files. Number 2, suggestibility. This is one of the most disturbing and powerful reasons your brain forgets everything, because it's the one that other people can use against you. Suggestibility is when your memory is influenced by someone else's suggestion. A simple question like, "Did you see the blue car speed away?" can make you remember a blue car, even if the car was actually green. Your brain is a sponge, and it absorbs information from its environment, even if that information is wrong. This is especially true with children, but it happens to adults all the time. A leading question from a police officer, a therapist, or even a friend can change your memory of an event forever. The most famous example of this comes from a study where researchers showed participants a video of a car crash and then asked them questions about it. When they used the word smashed instead of hit, participants were more likely to remember seeing broken glass, even though there was none. Your brain's desire to please, or its need to fill in the blanks, can lead it to invent a memory out of thin air. It's a terrifying reminder that your memories aren't your own. Number 1, bias. This is perhaps the most insidious way your brain forgets everything. Your memories aren't neutral. They're colored by your current beliefs, feelings, and knowledge. This is called a memory bias, and it means that you're constantly editing your past to fit your present. For example, if you think you've become a more positive person, your brain will change your memories to reflect that. You'll remember the past as being more negative than it was. Or if you've had a fight with a friend, your brain will change your memories to make them seem more annoying, and you seem more justified. Your brain is a master of spin. It's constantly rewriting the past to make you feel better about yourself in the present. It's a form of self-deception that is completely unconscious. We all think our memories are truthful, but in reality, they're just a story that our brain is telling itself. This is why it's so difficult to be objective about our own lives. We are, in a very real way, lying to ourselves about the past. And the most disturbing part is that you'll never know which memories are real and which are just a story.